Get started now. We'll start with just doing some introductions. My name is Roger Brogan. I'm the Director of Solutions Architecture for Chainlink Labs. Prior to that, I spent a couple of decades working for Accenture and top 5 consulting firms, doing a variety of things in IT, from architecture to big data and AI. And I've spent the last 4 years building out the solutions architecture team at Chainlink Labs. Bruno, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Bruno Grossi, the head of emerging technology and digital assets at the Banco Inter. Inter was the first digital bank in Brazil 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. With more than 25 years of IT career, I'm working a lot with software engineering, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and now quantum computing too. Inter has been the most innovative digital bank in Brazil. It was the first one that created a super app in the country with more than 80 products that's not financial product, right? Integrated with the bank. So it's a pleasure to be here to talk about our trade finance use case for DREX. Sergio?
I am Sergio Yamani. I am the Chief of Innovation Officer at Sevencom. Sevencom is an IT company that provides professional service for financial institutions in Brazil and Latin America. And we help this financial institution to implement tokenization solutions and support to blockchain networks for these institutions. And I have a lot of experience in enterprise architect, and I have been working with blockchain since 2016. Basically, use solutions for enterprise blockchain.
Hello, my friends. Good morning. My name is João Aragão. I was working in Microsoft until last month. I moved to another financial institution. But during my time in Microsoft, I lead all projects related to CBDC, Web3, DeFi, not only Brazil, but in Latin America and in other countries like the Norway, Thailand, and Hong Kong and the other central banks. My core is about the innovation, right? Applied innovation. That I have been working a lot with the AI, agentic AI, right? Apply, for example, blockchain. I start my postdoc in this way. In my parallel life, I'm a DeFi Web3 researcher. In this way, that's a part of the... And me and Bruno here, we analyzed this project about the trade finance, and we are pushing, and together with my friend here, Roger, and Sergio Yamani. That's a complicated project because it's involved many projects in the same project, right? We are talking about supply chain, we are talking about DVP, PVP in the same project. In this way, I believe the idea here is to talk a little bit more about not all details, but a little bit more how to explore trade finance. Not only Brazil, Hong Kong, Brazil, Dubai, Brazil, Caribbean, any central bank is feasible to explore and use this use case.
That's great. Thanks, everyone. So, Sergio, why don't we start off with the basics here? Why don't you explain to us what the DREX is, the DREX project, and how it has the potential to really modernize the Brazilian financial system and also create a foundation for global interoperability?
The DREX project is a Brazilian CDBC project, and the Central Bank of Brazil started this pilot of the project 2 years ago. It's to support it's not only to issue a CDBC, but this is an entire platform to support the tokenization of economic tokenization. There are 2 parts. We have the DREX is named the digital wheel, the growth of Brazil, and we have direct for wholesale is this token issued by central bank, and we have to direct for retail. This issued by the regulate financial institution, and it's delivered by the clients of the banks and through the tokenization of to the deposit tokenized. And this is this entire infrastructure, but not of only the technology, but this starts a legal framework to support to the regulation to support this tokenized economy. To support the entire tokenization of economy in Brazil. This opens the many possibilities of the new kind of digital assets and for payments inside and between Brazilian companies, but for cross-border payments.
Sergio?
Yeah. Well, I have a question. There's one challenge with using blockchain in institutional financials. It's about how the private. We need to balance the transparency compliance using blockchain, but you need to provide user confidentiality of the transactions too. And João, how can you explain impact of the security on in this case, mainly in institution, financial institution?
Thank you, Yamani. What is the idea, my friends? And what is the main blocker today in the directs? Is it to solve the part of the privacy, right? Not only privacy, I will have the other details about the utilization of the directs or go on to production, right? We have some layers in the infrastructure, for example, the directs, right? Imagine that we have the layer one, for example, the Hyperledger Bezo, that's a EVM, okay? And imagine that you have another layer, for example, one layer for privacy. And this same layer we can use for interoperability. That's another example. Imagine that you have the Brazil, okay, and the communication integration with another CBDC. Imagine that is another central bank using or Fabric, or Corda, or the access is via only APIs. That we start to increase the complexity in this project, right? That's a part of the project that we are involved now. And the nature of the blockchain is to be transparent, right? But what is the idea? We cannot, we must avoid any problem about the confidentiality and the privacy, because we are talking about the transaction, about the money, right? It's a digital money, but it's a money, right? In this way, we developed one solution based on ZKP that we can apply in this solution, for example, about the PVP, not only in PVP, but for example, in the process of the supply chain. Imagine that I have one platform that we include private information in this platform. In this way, we will talk a little bit more about this, but for example, it's not the only transaction that must be private, right? It's information about the logistics company and any Cargill, Bunge, that's the company that's in my mind, about the trade finance platform. In this way, we have some possibilities to keep the privacy, to keep the security. In this way, I idealize one concept about the zero trust CBDC, that we can apply any country, in any central bank, that we can create a shield around the CBDC. We are talking about the confidential computing, we are talking about the ZK rollup, and many other security observability, And I work with the Bruno in another project about the post-quantum cryptography. That's another component that we can apply, for example, in digital signature of the CBDC. In this way, we have technology for this to protect the CBDC. That's the part of the hard work of to launch one CBDC, right? It's not a problem. I see the opportunities to create a new solution. ZK rollup and the homomorphic encryption, we have a lot. Hey, Roger, after, if you can talk a little bit more about the privacy that the Chainlink has one solution. But Bruno, we are working together in the Drex project. I don't know if you know, my friend, we have the two phases in the Drex project. Phase 1, only the public bounds tokenized. Now we have the 13 use case. And this use case that we are talking here is, for me, is the most important use case in this list, right? Bruno, Inter is in the core of the Drex, right?
Yeah.
It's work with the central bank, work to create the technology, and explain for everyone here, my friend, how Inter is exploring the trade finance, how collaboration and contribution from the Inter, and you, my friend.
Thank you, João. Inter has been actively involved in the Drex project, right? Working with the central bank and the Microsoft Chainlink and the other banks in Brazil. This is a huge collaborative project, right? It's not a project only from the central bank. It's a project that the central bank involved all the financial system on that. And we are trying, since the first phase, we are trying to do more than the minimal use case that we are working on. As João told you, we worked in a PXC, post-quantum cryptography solution for Drex on the first phase. And now for the first phase, for the second phase, we have we was selected for 3 use cases. The liquidity pool for tokenized public bonds, the receivable use case for credit card, right? Credit card receivable in Drex. That's an important use case too. And this trade finance use case, that is, the idea is to connect the Drex with another central bank using Chainlink solution, right? We are really collaborating with the central bank and the other banks to find a private solution to create useful use case for Drex, because we already have PIX in Brazil. That's a successful use case, right, for instant payment. And then we need to work together to find useful use case for Drex to justify this project, right? So the trade finance is an important use case because we know that the trade finance has a lot of is full of friction, right? The delay, a lot of intermediaries, physical documents, and the liquidity problems, right? So we are trying to solve these problems or reduce these problems, working with tokenization of commodities in Brazil and using EBL to control the shipment of the products and reduce the frauds and create more trust in all the supply chain of the trade finance of a commodity from Brazil to a external another country, right? And I want to ask Roger to talk more about how the Chainlink. Chainlink is a global how do I say, a global, one of the most important technology used to connect different blockchains. And I want to ask you to talk us more about how Chainlink can solve this and help integrate all the systems that is necessary for the trade finance use case.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Bruno. Yes, so Chainlink realizes that there is no longer going to be essentially just one chain to rule them all. There's going to be many, many chains, many, many blockchains. And we knew from the very beginning that it was quite critical that those chains be connected in the most secure fashion available. So when we talk about CCIP, our cross-chain interoperability protocol, it is a full-blown protocol. And that allows us to send tokens and messages, and actually both, in something that we call programmable token transfer, that allows you to send tokens and instructions on what to do with those tokens when they land on the destination chain. So that is one key aspect of that. And we're the only solution available that has level 5 security, because we built this from the very beginning to be available for use for financial institutions globally, for sending real large amounts of value. That has to be absolutely secure. And this is built on our technology that has been running successfully in very adversarial environment, i.e. Ethereum mainnet, protecting DeFi with price feeds and various other technologies from our oracles successfully since 2019 with no incidents, no value lost. So part of that interoperability solution is connecting the chains that will be involved in this process. And another part of the solution is our oracles, which was our first generation technology to get data from other off-chain sources and then write those successfully on-chain in a very secure, decentralized, censorship-resistant and very secure manner. Now, the next generation, that technology that we're working on is something called the Chainlink runtime environment, which allows us to combine not only cross-chain capabilities and the abilities to pull data from Web 2 style systems, Web 2 APIs, but the next generation that we'll be working on and likely using in this use case as well is essentially a decentralized, consensus-driven workflow engine, which allows the data points to be either blockchains to read and write from blockchains, or for those endpoints to be APIs, which you can actually read and write from the APIs, and then perform decentralized compute on that information as needed, work on it through a workflow with various branches and branching logic, and then be able to come to consensus on those values and write that information back out to the blockchain. So I don't have time in this session to go into much more of the technical details of how all that works, but please find me running around the conference if you're interested. I'll be happy to tell you much more detail on how all of that works. So just kind of to sum that up, we're getting a lot of interest in financial institutions because we've set the standard as far as security and reliability as far as these cross-chain solutions, and that's why we're excited to be working on the project with everyone here in the Brazilian Central Bank. All right, I think that kind of sums up my bit on this. Can we talk a little bit, Sergio, at 7Com, you support a broad range of financial institutions in Latin America. What trends or demands are you seeing from clients in terms of tokenized assets and frictionless cross-border payments?
Well, we have a lot of demands about tokenization of the real-world assets in form of tokenization. But the main question now, mainly in Brazil, is about the regulation. Because the financial ecosystem in Brazil is very regulated, and you need clear, more clear rules about how to tokenize these assets, and how to for example, the same way the stablecoin is how a bank in Brazil can use stablecoin to cross-border payments. But in the last year, and this year too, the central bank and the securities and CVM, the Securities and Exchange Commission in Brazil, launched a series of the public consultation to create rules about how can the financial institution in Brazil can use stablecoin all tokenized assets. But after the final version of this regulation, I see a lot of new projects starting in Brazil, and it became this could be a legal framework for other countries in Latin America too.
Okay.
I have a question to João. The blockchain trade finance is not a new blockchain-based trade finance is not a new concept, but many of the early pilots failed to gain traction. What makes this new wave powered by CDBC cross-chain protocols fundamentally different?
Okay. What is the idea of the trade finance? It's facilitate exchange, right? Okay. Imagine that you have the two rivers. The first one is about the supply chain. Imagine that I tokenize the soybeans here in Brazil, and I will sell these for another country. Doesn't matter. We studied a lot of the companies that start with the trade finance platform, and the most part of these companies fail. Why? Because we have no consent, no privacy, use only few companies to start and to create this company, right? And we have the example about the Marco Polo, Tradelands, but in parallel, in the opposite, we talk with the GSPN. That is a company about the trade finance. It's based on blockchain. That's is a big point because we comment about the paperless environment. That's a part of the electronic bill of lading that we must apply in this type of the project, right? Because when we start the logistic process to, for example, soybeans, meat, and any other component or product, we must guarantee that we deliver these goods, right? That's a part of the process. In this way, we must keep the interoperability. Imagine that we create the OR marketplace, and for example, we need to connect with the GSPN. We need to connect with the other, because we can realize or determine for example, one flow between Brazil and any country, but we need to connect and to be interoperable with the other blockchain platforms. In this way, for me, the key word here is interoperability and the electronic bill of lading. But without law, for example, we don't have one law in Brazil to force the utilization of the electronic bill of lading. What is this? Is to take the form and put this information, for example, in blockchain in multiple environments and in this way. The platform that we are working, the idea is to be interoperable and keep the privacy with the consent flow. Create analogy here about the open bank in Brazil, right? That you have the consent to get information. That's here is almost the same. We can put many banks, many companies in the same platform, include Federal Revenue Service to analyze the complete flow of the goods. The Federal Revenue Service, for example, is analyzing, for example, how to get one tax, use the PTAX and the other information, for example, use the oracles to collect this, to capture this index and use this platform. That's the part of the flow, my friend, a lot of actors. Bruno, my friend, we are involved in the core of this, right? And but what is the real benefits, in your opinion, my friend, about the trade finance, the user, the end user, right, from the customer of the Inter? What is the benefits about the customers, the farmers, not only the trade finance, but in the part of the supply chain? What do you think, my friend?
As a bank, we see that the most important benefit is to give more credit with a lower interest, right, for our clients. When we create trust between all the participants of the trade finance and the supply chain. We can give more credit with lower interest to everyone. Giving the opportunity for SMEs, right, small and medium companies to and farmers to export their productions, giving them access to the clients all of the world, right? In all of the world, and create opportunity for everyone to become part of this how do I say, global trade finance, right? Global trade supply chain, and work together with another financial companies to reduce risks for everyone, right? And when we create trust and reduce risk, we can give the opportunity for more people being involved on this, and that's the main benefit of this this trade finance use case for us as a bank, right? Give access to our clients to the market, global market, right? So I have a question to Roger. Roger, you know that the stablecoin has been an important part of trade finance and cross-border payment. So I want to ask you to talk more about the benefits of using stablecoins and how Chainlink can ensure this connection between the parts, the different systems, and the stablecoins to improve the trade finance.
Yeah, great question, Bruno. So I would say one of the technologies that is in use today, Bank of Colombia, Winia is using this, is the Chainlink technology called proof of reserve. And proof of reserve is a key technology for stablecoins because most of the stablecoins that are currently successful are ones that are stablecoins. Their value is preserved on chain because they are backed by some sort of real world asset, whether it be bonds or some other type of financial instrument. It's really important that the things that are backing those stable coins are always essentially more or exactly the same as the value of these coins that are minted on chain. So what proof of reserve does is allows a third-party auditor to access the financial systems that hold these assets and make an on-chain attestation from the auditor saying that there is this much of the asset backing the stablecoin to make sure that it is one, more transparent, you can see this value on the blockchain, and also to make sure that there's never a way for these stable coins to have more of them minted than is actually backed, so that their value is always preserved. Now, one of the key strongest uses of proof of reserve is since this value is written on chain, you can write it into the smart contracts, into the minting function, that before the minting function is executed or during the minting function, it can check the proof of reserve and make sure that the new total supply of stable coins that is about to be minted is not going to be more than what is backed by that collateral. And that gives, beyond just transparency, that gives another layer in defense and depth in case some sort of hacker tried to exploit some sort of flaw that they detected in the smart contract and was trying to perform an infinite mint attack or something along those lines. So that's one of the technologies extremely popular with stable coins or any type of real world asset that is tokenized value against something else. I mean, other examples are like tokenized gold or tokenized silver or other types of commodities that people can attest to that are available. So that's one part of the technology. The other part of the technology with CCIP, it makes the accounting for these stable coins can be quite simple because it supports so many cross-chain interoperability bits. It can be mint and burn, lock and burn, unlock and mint, any various combination of those that you need to support. CCIP supports all of those cross-token transfer protocols. So in closing, and to wrap this up, I'd like to ask each of you to share one final thought here as we're getting close on time. What is the one thing that you believe needs to happen in 2025 for these cross-chain financial use cases like trade finance that we're talking about today become a reality in production at scale? You want to kick it off, Bruno?
Yeah, I think that we will not have only one blockchain, right, to solve everything. So I think that the interoperability in Brazil we have this regulatory being it's being discussed by the central bank, and you solve some gaps in the regulatory area this year. So I think it's the most important part to solve the interoperability and the regulatory. Okay.
So yes, I agree. I think the regulatory, the support of the regulators in each country, and the collaboration with the participants is very important to support this kind of solution.
Okay, João?
Yeah, for me, the key word is interoperability, right? Because we don't have a unique CITMO network to support all central banks around the world, right? And to be honest, we utilize the utilization of the stable coins based on, for example, in the soybeans, meat, and any other commodities, right? But when I remember one word or phrase, one expression in the white paper of the BIS about the dynamo, right? That's mitigate the counterparty risks. That's a part of this process, and SME and financial inclusion. For me, I believe that if you can include this in this, and you have another, it's not a problem, but it's a concern. That's why I mentioned about the stablecoin. We can push this project until the end, finalize, and we cannot wait the DREX, right? For example, if you don't have the DREX launched in this year or next year, we can push and in production this project. For me, that's important. With the utilization of the stablecoin, for example, based on soybeans or another commodities. That's my dream, my friend.
Good one. Yeah, and I would say that in closing, you know, my ideas on what needs to happen in 2025 are exactly what you guys said. So I'll echo those again. We need regulatory clarity, and we need interoperability, because we know that it's not going to be a single chain that rules the world. It's going to be interoperating with all of those. And that's kind of the vision of CCIP. Eventually, we'd like it turned into almost like the TCIP of the internet, where now you go to send someone an email, you don't think, oh, are they on the internet? You just send an email, and everything goes. So we envision a future where everything is connected with CCIP, and you want to talk to someone on another blockchain, you don't even think about it. You can just send the message, send the tokens, and interoperability is solved for you. And then one final thing I would say on that is that I know that the US has been really anti-crypto and anti-blockchain in the past. So I'm also personally really excited that we should see some regulatory clarity there as well. So as we come together globally with regulatory clarity, I think it's going to be a very exciting time for all of us in this industry. I'm very excited for use cases like this. So thank you all very much.
Thank
you.
That's it.
Thank you.